We are beginning.
Okay.
Four bands, 9 songs, one good cause, and I even do spoken word on the thing. So head on over to OnePeoplesProject.com and get your copy of this important CD. Bottom line, we all in the fight now.
All right. So we are here. 3 of us again. Needless to say, for my co-sub host, we're live. So
hello, everybody.
Hey, and that's all I introduce ourselves. I'm Daryl Lamont Jenkins. I am the apparently master and lord of Antifa, according to what's been going on for the past week.
I am Beth Foster, a co-conspirator.
I'm Andrew Zonneveld. I'm one of the co-founders and organizers of the Atlanta Radical Book Fair.
And we're going to be talking a lot about that in the next half hour or so. If we go long, Beth is going to be leaving us, but me and Andrew are probably going to just go ahead and just kick it for a little while because I was actually supposed to be at that book fair next week, and unfortunately, because of all kinds of health issues, I can't do it. I mean, it'll be a mess in many respects. So, and I'm mad because I have been canceling out on a lot of events that's been happening over the past year, and I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at myself. So actually, Andrew, I'm glad you came on because I want to apologize, but it is what it is.
Don't apologize for it. It is what it is, and I'm excited to be here, and glad we get time to chat a bit, and hopefully we'll get you at the book fair at some point in the future.
Yes, definitely. I can't wait to come back down. I mean, I miss everybody down there. I enjoy everybody's company, and there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on that we basically have to be face to face and talk about. That's one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with the No Kings rallies that are happening. Like I'm going to be speaking at one tomorrow. The one in Princeton, New Jersey. Maybe in my hometown of Somerset, New Jersey. I have to say Jersey here. but I don't know yet. And I think the reason why I want people to start coming out because we all got to come together and talk about how we're going to handle this nonsense that's happening over the past year. So and we are going to have to talk with some of these liberals about making sure that we are all on the same page. I mean, we can't keep fighting back and forth with each other when we got this nonsense that we have to deal with. So what's going to be going on your ends on that front, actually?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you could go.
Oh, on the No Kings thing?
Yeah.
I'm not as clued in because I've been really focused on the book fair stuff, and then
right.
And this kind of came out of left field for me. As far as I know, there's going to be some anarchist and anti-fascist comrades distributing literature and stuff like that during the march. Now, interestingly, in Atlanta, and this is there's two of like kind of the normal liberal groups that we're probably familiar with, like was it the 50-51 and the Indivisible. They had a joint rally planned, and they were going to do a march, but the city wouldn't permit the march, and so there's been a split where one of those groups, I believe it was 50-51, is said, well, we're going to actually march without the permit, and Indivisible is like, well, we're not going to do that. So they're still sharing the rally space. So that, I mean, and that could have that tension could have resolved itself by now, but that was the last thing I heard, and it was kind of interesting because you get to see people starting to grapple with this, the limitations of like, legal protests and like legally sanctioned protests and stuff. So I'm very curious to see what goes down tomorrow, and I'm gonna do my best to stay on top of it. But but also just kind of trying to finish up the last bit of putting stuff together for the upcoming book fair.
Andrew, why would the city not permit the march?
Okay, yeah, good question. So like Atlanta hasn't been hit with this, what are they called? The National Guard stuff yet, right? but it's quite a big city in a very democratic city, and there's been all sorts of like little sound bites coming out of leaking from the mayor's office saying that like, oh, the mayor is working behind the scenes to make sure this doesn't happen with us, whatever. So there's basically people are kind of assuming that like the city wants to present itself as like calm and not a place where urban insurrections or rebellions might happen, and like thinking that like almost as kind of like appeasement apology with the Trump regime. And this is what people have been hypothesizing. We don't know why the city did it because they didn't come out and say why, but this is how people are like kind of interpreting it. That it's basically like a kind of a weird attempt to forestall the coming militarization of the city.
Interesting.
And I think that after everything that's going on with cop city, I think they're definitely spooked by what it is that any of us are going to be doing. So, including the book fair, if they even know what's going on in regards to that. But
yeah, that's it. I mean, it's interesting because like we've done the book fair. This is our 9th year now, and we do it at the Auburn Avenue Research Library, which is right downtown. It's a public library, it's a city library. We've never had, it's very, very well attended every year. We've never had any press, and we've never had any like weird pushback from the city or the county library system or anything like that. It's had pretty much like no attention from, I guess, what you'd call like the institutions of official society, which is weird because it's very like a family friendly thing, and like it's open to all. It's a public educational event, but it gets like practically no attention from the state, which has been great. And I was a little worried this year, but I went to another anarchist book fair recently, and like nobody got raided or attacked or anything by any kind of like official or unofficial forces, so that eased my mind a little bit.
I mean, I'm been worried about that because I'm worried about whether or not they realize, and this is one of the things I always point out. One of the things, this is basically a place where we can all get together. I mean, when you deal with book fairs and book stores like community that you run, that's a bastion of our existence right now. It's pretty much where we go to basically get our heads straight and everything, and it's only a matter of time before they pick up on that.
Yeah, I mean, when you were at Community Books a couple of years ago, you made that point, and it really stuck in my brain that like our bookstores and our book fairs are our places, especially as anti-fascists or anarchists, and like that's something that we've contributed to the intellectual and the intellectual culture of our communities, and also like where we do a lot of our socialization and our education. So like at some point you had to figure that they become targets. So yeah, I guess all we can do is watch, and
that's all we can do. That's really we can all do. So what are we going to, we may as well just jump into it. I know I want to ask Beth what's going to be happening with Kings in a minute, but I really want to get into the reason why we brought you here. This book fair is going to be taking place next Saturday, correct?
Yes.
And it's
October
going to be
25th.
What was that? Say it again. I talked over you.
Oh, I said next Saturday, October 25th. Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be where again?
At the Auburn Avenue Research Library for African American History and Culture, which is in downtown Atlanta.
And what is actually we can expect, or people who can expect when they come out?
Well, when you walk in the door, you're going to see a bunch of tables with a bunch of radical publishers and booksellers peddling their wares. You're going to see a lot of literature that you don't often see in other bookstores. A lot of it is stuff that will be very familiar, and some of it will be stuff that you've never seen before. And you're going to meet a lot of interesting people. And then in the big auditorium, the library's big auditorium, we're going to have a series of 4 panels of speakers who are going to discuss certain topics. Or so we have, like, first up, we have a report back from the West Bank and some activists with the International Solidarity Movement who are going to talk about their time doing accompaniment with Palestinian communities and families in the West Bank. Then we have a panel at 1:30 called "The Future is Physical. Keep Your Books," and that was actually one of our collective members who works in that library, the Auburn Avenue Research Library, which is that's like our Schomburg Center, basically, like Atlanta's Schomburg Center. One of our collective members who works there, he wanted to do this panel discussion on like the radical importance of archiving, and also of like keeping physical media a part of your life, because all this shit that's online can die, it can disappear. And like, I think a lot of us, like when we really started getting into, those of us who are old enough to remember the technology kind of booming in the mid to late 90s and stuff like that, I think we thought like, oh wow, we can store everything forever. But it's like, actually no, the technology changes all the time and stuff gets lost all the time. And so a physical book that doesn't require any electricity and doesn't require any software updates is a hell of a thing to have in this day and age. And then we have our featured speakers, Jonina Abram Irvin and Lorenzo Comboa Irvin, who are 2 elder Black anarchist intellectuals and activists, who are going to be speaking and talking about fascism and anti-fascism, and also presenting a little bit from their respective books. Jonina's book just came out from AK Press. Yeah, okay, what's the title of that
What's
book?
the name of the book?
Driven by the Movement.
Okay, excellent.
By Jonina Abram Irvin. And so people are going to have an opportunity to buy that book as well. If we're really nice to Jonina and Lorenzo, maybe they'll sign them. I don't know. And then after that conversation, we have African Film Night, where they're showing A Luta Continua, which is a very famous film about the independence struggle in Mozambique, which, interestingly enough, the African Liberation Support Committee folks used to show that to raise money for Frelimo fighters in Mozambique, back in the 70s. And so some of my elder friends were members of the African Liberation Support Committee, and so they were kind of jazzed that we're going to be showing that film. Excellent. So that's pretty much the day. And yeah, hope people come out. It's from noon to 6 p.m. on Saturday, October 25th at the Auburn Avenue Research Library.
That sounds amazing. I'm like sitting here trying to think, could I possibly drive to Atlanta next weekend?
Do it.
I say do it and just do it, just to at least very, very much so just represent one people's project, since I can't be there. I was actually supposed to be on that the panel, and I'm just like, I'm still mad. I'm still mad at myself, but it is what it is. I mean, I planned this for like, I don't know how long, and then it just started getting worse and worse for me. So it's just like, I'll be there. I am going to commit to coming down at some point. So so fear not. I will be out and about with y'all. Hopefully next year. So And
We're just sending you good
if we're
vibes.
not all
and wishes
arrested,
of healing. Yeah.
if we're not locked up by the state or whatever, I mean,
In which case, I'll see you in El Salvador.
oh yeah, well that too, yeah. If they keep us in the same pods.
Yeah.
By next year, we'll have all of them in the re-education camps, and anarchy will rule the land. So,
Yeah, if they don't just kill me outright, because I think they want to do that by this point.
So
That's why
are you going to update us on the
right
Andy
now?
Note?
Because who knows who might walk through that door.
Cool. Yeah.
No, it's funny because I've been getting that. I mean, last week we had that round table of anti-fascists, anti-fascists, I should say, that at the White House, and it was really interesting. We talked about it last week, and it got even more interesting because one of the things that I found really interesting is the fact that my name wasn't brought up, or One People's Project wasn't brought up, and it's always in the forefront. We are in the forefront of all of these characters' minds. There was at least 4 people that were there at the on the dais that I've had personal dealings with. So the fact that I wasn't picked up and wasn't even mentioned was curious. And I think I realized why I wasn't brought up, because I don't think they wanted to put my name and One People's Projects or Ida Vox's name out there for the general public, which will be the audience for everybody at that time. But Andy No decided to try to quote unquote dox me, because basically he just put information out that everybody knew about me anyway, on his Twitter. And that was when he was calling me the Antifa leader and all of this nonsense. And needless to say, now people are curious. People want to know who the heck am I? And some folks are thinking that I'm probably going to be picked up by the feds or something, because Andy Notes said to come get me or whatever. And I don't know if anybody has any feelings about all of this nonsense, but it's been crazy, especially with us trying to still raise money for everything that's been going on with us to begin with. Now they really got have people paying attention to us. So
it was interesting that it came right after the Mark Bray stuff.
mhm.
You know, it seemed like, now, and correct me if I misinterpret the chain of events, but it seems like Andy No moved from Mark Bray to you after Mark.
Which is curious because he's from here in New Brunswick. I mean, basically, that's where he was going to school. I mean, that's where he was teaching. He was here in Rutgers.
Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, I thought you meant Andy. Okay, yeah.
No, not
Mark,
Andy. No.
Yeah.
No, we get to play with another Nazi that people know. That's just down the road from here. His name is calls himself Gypsy Crusader. He only lives up the road. He's a troll. He's a troll, and he likes to say racist stuff. And he's a joke. He's a joke. He's already been locked up a couple of times. So, but Andy No, basically, his thing, he's written about me in his book, and I've never really had a lot of dealings with him. And I do know that Beth, you only got a few minutes, so but it's kind of like he mentions me in the book, says that I put together an organization, or rather a protest against him a couple of years ago, and I didn't. It wasn't me. It was a bunch of kids that decided they were going to protest him, but he decided to put me out there because I was there. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. And now I live written free in his head. And Beth, did you have anything you want to say before you?
I just wanted to see if you wanted to run down that list of horrible stuff the young Republicans said before.
We better do that before you go. So let's talk about that too. so I get so we saw this information that came through about how there was groups of run young Republicans and their tweets, or rather not tweets, it was basically just text back and forth with each other. And they has how many do they have? How many tweets? I'm saying tweets, but text.
I think it was thousands of exchanges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have, I mean, we got pictures of everybody that and what they had said, and basically right quick, because again, Beth has to get out of here, so we're just going to be quick about this one. And it's always funny, by the way, I just want to say right quick that there's a guy by the name of what's his name, Gavin Wax, who used to be the head of the New York Young Republicans. And he had been, they're tagging him as the one that basically leaked all of this. So they're mad at him right now, real mad at him right now. So, and it's some, which is funny too, because he's been messing around with that Naziist crowd too. SPLC had a spotlighted him and some of his events. So look him up on SPLC. You see how bad he is. But who do we have running down? Who are we running down right now?
Well, we're starting with Bobby Walker of New York. Walker is the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, and he called rape epic. It was in this conversation reported by Politico. Somebody named Mosiman says the Spanish came to America and had sex with every single woman. Dwyer responds, sex, it was rape. Walker responds, epic. Walker has since told Politico that he believes part of the chat may have been altered, taken out of context, or otherwise manipulated. He added that the private exchanges were obtained and released in a way clearly intended to inflict harm. Next up is Peter Giunta. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. It's Giunta, also of New York. And he made these comments while chair of the New York Young Republicans. This is during a conversation about an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Federation. And he said, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. And everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber. Next up is Joe Maligno, also of New York. Maligno, who previously called himself the general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, participated in the gas chamber joke, writing, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." He also used a slur against Asians, responding to Walker that his Italian ancestors built the train tracks with the Chinese. Next, we have Alex Dwyer of Kansas. Dwyer was the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, referenced the number 1488 when someone asked which hotel room they were in. William Hendricks of Kansas. Hendricks was the Kansas Young Republican vice chair. He used the N-word and several variations of it more than a dozen times in the chat, according to Politico. He also made a comment in July repeating racist stereotypes about Black people, saying, bro is at a chicken restaurant ordering his food. Would he like some watermelon and Kool-Aid with that? Hendricks was also a communications assistant for Kansas Republican Attorney General Chris Kobach at the time, also used the homophobic slur that starts with an F. Annie Caddy of New York. Caddy was a national committee member for the New York State Young Republicans and took part in the exchange about gas chambers, saying, I'm ready to watch people burn now. Luke Mosiman of Arizona. In June, Mosiman, the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans, called for the rape of Hayden Paget, the chair of the Young Republicans National Federation, writing, rape Hayden. In July, Mosiman mused that they could win support for a candidate by trying to link an opponent to a white supremacist group, but then joked that this could backfire. Mosiman, and we quote, "Can we get them to start releasing Nazi edits with her, like pro-Nazi and fascism propaganda?" Rachel Hope, Arizona Young Republicans event chair. "Oh my God, I love this plan." Mosiman, "The only problem is we will lose the Kansas delegation." Samuel Douglas of Vermont, the Vermont State Senator Samuel Douglas, told the group that one of Paget's Jewish colleagues may have made a procedural error related to the number of Maryland delegates allowed to attend the national conference. His wife, Breonna Douglas, of Vermont Young Republicans National Committee member, replied, "I was about to say, you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest." And with that disgusting listening from me, I'm going to have to get out of here, but I have faith that you and Andrew will deal with this tonight.
All right, take care. We'll
Peace
see you
out,
soon.
everybody.
We'll see you
All
next
right.
week at 6 o'clock. Oh,
I
yeah,
will
by
be
the way, I had messed up and I have to apologize to everybody because I kept on saying we was coming on at 6:30. And oops, I didn't I could not remember exactly when I was, because we've been changing the times all this time for a couple of weeks now. But we are going to be doing this for on now every every Saturday, or rather every Friday at 6 o'clock. So that's where we are. So let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in in this case, Stone Mountain, because I know you wanted to bring up a lot of what's been happening, and why don't we speak on the kinds of drama and why?
Yeah. It's always one of those like how much time you got kind of things. But like
Oh, we got time.
yeah. So for folks who might not be familiar, Stone Mountain is both a large granite natural monadnock, which is like a big chunk of rock, right? It's like a mountain made of like one big stone, and it's also a municipality at the foot of that mountain, just outside of Atlanta. And this municipality, this town, was once, a Ku Klux Klan headquarters. And the revival of the Ku Klux Klan, the second Ku Klux Klan, was inaugurated in 1915 at the top of Stone Mountain with a cross burning there. But since that time, there's been a major demographic change in Stone Mountain. It's like overwhelmingly majority African American town now, but there's a few of these old school kind of white nationalists, really members of what's called the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and they have a really weird relationship with some of the elders in town, and they are excellent at manipulating local politics. And the municipality itself is only like 6,000 people. It's very small. Um, what they call city limits, are like really tightly wrapped around the little Main Street area. And so what's happened most recently, like about 4 years ago, we elected Beverly Jones mayor. She was the only, I believe, the second African American mayor and the first African American woman mayor of the city of Stone Mountain. She has had nothing but I mean, and I'm not somebody, look, I'm an anarchist. I'm not somebody who like loves mayors and is really concerned with the fate of politicians, but like at this kind of extremely local level, these people are volunteers. These are like, and Mayor Jones has been really subject to ridiculous harassment by the right in this town. And our local elections are all like nonpartisan. So it's not like a Democrat Republican thing, but there is like this weird devil's alliance, or I don't know what you call it, but between the Sons of Confederate Veterans and local real estate interests. So some of the real estate developers in the area are African American, and they're like, all because of their interests, their real estate interests, they want to like, they've been like pro Confederate tourism and shit. Like, it's fucked. It's a bad
After
situation,
all,
man. Yeah,
you know what?
dude.
I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm really not.
I mean, I could go on and on about some of the individuals that we're talking about, but Mayor Jones, to her credit, has been one of the very few local politicians who's been like, I don't take any shit from these Confederate assholes. I'm assuming we can curse on this program. I don't know.
It's all good. Fuck
Cool.
it.
And so, but the problem is that all the people who are kind of on our side on this issue locally, they're good people who they're elder folks who want to be on their city council and want to help out and steer Stone Mountain in the right direction, but they're woefully disorganized and they don't have any money. Like, everybody's broke, and the other side has money. And so 2 years ago, they ran really strong campaign, because we do it like the staggered election. So like 3 city councilors are up for election on this year, and then the other 3 and the mayor are up the next year. So this year is the one with the mayor. And yeah, it's just like the other side has nominated their little slate of people. They're very well funded. 2 years ago, they won in a sweep. They ran a slate and they won in a sweep. But the most interesting thing is that after they won 2 years ago, and then they had a 4-2 vote on the city council, they were able to kind of do whatever they want. And they started nitpicking every single document the mayor ever signed, every single action, every word she said on council. And they voted now over this completely like trumped up thing where they said that she signed a document at the bank that the city manager was supposed to sign instead of the mayor. And they've turned it into this like allegation of mismanagement of finances, even though no money was taken out of the bank, and there's like no allegation that the mayor even touched any money. But they've turned it into this whole thing with their some of their friends in the local press. And they voted as a city council to remove the mayor with no recall election or anything. To the community has had no input on this, except for the people that this kind of little clique packs into the city hall every month. And so most people in the town here are not even aware that, like, and now the mayor is suing them to try to keep her seat for the next couple months, and while she's also running for re-election.
How's that look for her?
It looks bad. Because the problem is that she's terrible at advocating for herself. She really she's a very humble person, kind of person who thinks like that kind of quiet strength is always going to win the day, and it's sometimes a little naive in that respect. And I really 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 hope that she wins, because the guy she's running against, Jelani Linder, he's that real estate guy I told you about. If he wins, they'll have a whole city council of all real estate agents and developers, with a real estate developer as mayor, and they have very specific plans for some of the public land here. They're trying to privatize public land. And they've also come to the defense of, because we're constantly hounding them, trying to get them to remove Confederate monuments. And these same people, including Mr. Linder, have spoken against the removal of Confederate monuments over and over and over again. And even though they know they'll be in the same room, shaking hands inside and taking the side of members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, Mechanized Infantry, Motorcycle Gang, and stuff. Martin O'Toole, who I think you're familiar with, makes frequent appearances at our city hall, and is also involved in at least one big lawsuit now, where he's suing the park for trying to put in a museum, like a truth-telling museum about the carving. And it was like, we're not sure that we trusted the park to actually tell the truth with anything. But O'Toole's lawsuit is against any kind of recontextualization. So that's a little bit about what's going on in Stone Mountain. And it's a frustrating turf to be organizing on, because so much of this stuff happens while so much of the community is just like totally tuned out. and there's a lot of like old cultural remnants of Jim Crow here that have remained despite the demographic change, and it's quite a challenge, but that's a little bit what's going on.
Man, I'm thinking that all the drama that we're having, I'm glad you brought up what was happening when it comes to the politics of everything, because I'm gonna tell y'all flat out that, Stone Mountain is a beautiful town. I love coming there. I even love going to the park, even though I have to be on business. I love the park, and it's unfortunate that this ugly has to keep on coming up. And but what I appreciate about it is that you guys are there making sure that the beautiful parts of everything and the fighters are basically embedded, I should say. And I need you to just keep on keeping on. I really do. And I'm gonna tell you it again. Also, I want to invite you to come back and bring people with you who wants to come on. I think that it's going to be important for people to see these kinds of events, programs, and see what's happening down in Atlanta and in Georgia in general. Because next year y'all going to have fun with you got the governor and the Senate, don't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can imagine the knuckleheads that are going to be coming out of the woodworks for those. And I think that people are going to want to be on top of what happens in the next couple of months, especially with what we've been dealing with for the past couple of months right now. So I want to thank you for coming out today. And
of course.
Oh man, I'm still mad. I can't go down.
Don't be mad, man. I mean, there's always
I gotta beat myself up, or I'm not going to be human.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, man, and also, like, anytime you can come down, if you want to do something at the bookstore, we're here. We got you on that.
By all means. And how is the book? How has things been going on with the bookstore?
It's been
2 years now, 3 years.
Yeah, two and a half years. It's, we get a lot of love from the community, not just in Stone Mountain, but from around town as well. Money is always the problem. You know how it is. It's like, oh, you got something going? Everything cool?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay, cool.
I hear sirens on the background, but it's not us. It's somewhere outside.
Cool. Well, sweet.
Doesn't help that our office is right across the street from a police station, but
okay. Well, there you go. But yeah, it's like, it's tough. The finances thing is always the hardest thing. Just because, we try to price everything really, really affordably. Because we're also like the only bookstore anywhere near the area. So it's not just that we're like a radical bookstore and we sell all this like cool shit about history and society and stuff, but like that like literally when we opened, we had young people who came in and they looked around and said, "What is this?" Because there hasn't been a bookstore in the community of Stone Mountain for a very long time, and so like it's taken, and with the uh, media landscape being what it is now, it takes a little while to get people used to buying books again. But and so our business is very event dependent. So we try to do a lot of events and stuff like that, and that boosts sales for sure. But we have some pretty big aspirations for the place. We'll see if we can pull them off. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but like I think that like if everything goes the way that we're hoping it's going to go, we're going to be a lot more stable in the near future, and hopefully be able to commit to having this institution in this community for a very long time. But yeah, and it's great. I mean, the programming is really, you can sit in the bookstore sometimes working there just all weekend and like nobody fucking buys anything or people don't come in, especially if it's raining.
That's how it always is. Everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go.
And then you throw an event and the place is full of people talking about ideas, exchanging information, meeting each other for the first time. And you're like, oh, this is why we do this. And
again, I wanted, like I said, you can go all over the country and you can see this kind of thing. And because people are starving for these kinds of outlets. And it's one of the things that I always try to tell people all the time is that, support your radical bookstores. Seriously. I mean, I'm going to actually, it's just actually hitting me. I think it might be a good idea if you are working or you own a bookstore, hit us up. And I don't care where you are in the country or the world. It'll be interesting to see what kind of radical bookstores are in other parts of the country. So hit us up and let's see if we can give you a little bit of traffic. But remember, the bad guys are listening too, but that shouldn't stop anybody from doing a damn thing. So, so let's just make sure that we support everybody everywhere. Hell, I want to start my own bookstore place around here. It'd be great to. We used to have them. We used to have at least one place that was called Mark 224, I think it was. Something like that. I can't remember the name of it. It was a black store, but they caught hell because you had the crowd of racists in this area that tried to say that they were anti-Semitic and that they were racist and all of this. Meanwhile, it was them that were the racists.
Right.
I mean, it's the way it always was. This was like in the early 90s. And I would love to bring all of that back here.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see what happens after we're done with our situation here, money-wise. And by the way, I want to bring that, come back to that. We're still in the middle of our, still trying to get people to support us and help us out with all of the troubles that we've been having over the past couple of months. We're almost there. By the end of October, we have to have 2,900, and then we're clear. And then everything else after, we're really just going to be looking for people to support us as we go along through our day-to-day. And we are tax deductible, which is really why Andy No was ticked off about us, and everybody comes out after us via the government and everything. But the fact of the matter is, we are for now. So if anybody wants to support us, feel free to hit us up over at we have a that's the wrong number. This is what I want. Feel free to hit us up over at onepeoplesproject.com/donate. Okay, here's where I have to say the usual thing. I had 2 strokes over the past year. I can't talk the way I used to. The reason why Beth had to read all of that before is because I cannot read out loud. So when you hear me stammering like that, that's where it's coming from. So far, so good today, though. I was good. But that's how you support us. We do have a Go Fund Me. And you'll see that in the replay of this show. I want to say something right quick. Somebody, Philly Mad Fash Watch had asked, this is where I'm talking about I have a hard time reading out loud. Didn't Gavin Wax host the event where the Proud Boys attacked people and went to jail many years ago? I can't say for sure. I want to check, and I'll check, and we'll look that up again. I want to say yes, that does sound about right, but I don't know. We'll check, and then I'll get back to you. And we'll probably mention it the next show since I brought it up here. But again, Andrew, thank you for coming today. And everybody, looks like we had a good, nice crowd of people that were here today.
Great.
And oh, wait a minute, he's asking me something else. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I remember all that. I mean, it was just he was at Gavin McInnes. Oh yeah, Gavin McInnes was there. Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was his event. But I don't think Gavin Wax had anything to do with it. I'm not really sure. I'm basically responding to the comments that are on our Substack. You can see them while the show was going on. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation, you would have to, feel free to subscribe. Subscribers can have a conversation online while we have the event. I have this podcast going, and we would love it if everybody comes on, and we love to have the conversations with folks. And most importantly, we want everybody to start supporting One People's Project and enjoying the things that we put out there. So feel free to visit onepeoplesproject.com. Visit idavox.com. That's our newsletter, newsline. And you can find us on social media via our names, especially me. D. Lamont Jenkins is where I'm usually at. If you're looking for me on TikTok, yeah, I'm there. I am the Notorious DLJ. And I'm sorry because I really do think that that's a corny name now, but screw it. I'm stuck with it. So
I refer to you sometimes as the Antifascism
y'all, thank you for coming and being a part of this event today. Thank you, Beth, for being here. And I don't know what we're going to talk about yet next week, but it will be at 6 o'clock, Friday, 6 o'clock p.m. EST. And until then, we're going to show a bumper. Everybody's seen this bumper. And we actually showed this documentary at Community Books. Yeah, this is the one about me. And everybody gets a chance to see my sister and my mother who is actually doing better these days, and I'm happy.
Great.
So
that's great.
So everybody take care. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you. Yes, we're done.
We're good?
Why
oh yeah,
do
we
you
can't
think
talk over
that
this.
You have the right
Hold
to
up.
silence me.
Now
always said that I don't want to be heard, I want to be felt. I don't want to make my mark, I want to make my dent.
I didn't realize at the time that I was actually one of the biggest activists and largest organizers of white nationalism and alt-right in the United States.
They are what is considered by most people sort of your button-up white supremacists, your suit and tie Nazis.
Arguably, what they spew, while it's hateful and deplorable, is political speech, and so therefore it's protected under the Constitution.
Pat, why are you letting the fascists down here? You got us blocked off, but you're letting the fascists come and harass us? We want them out of here now, damn it, or we're coming over the fucking barrier.
I can't walk in fear, and we don't walk in fear, you know, and I thank God for that.
Honestly, I wanted to make sure that when I left this earth, there would be something left behind that was worth a damn.